So welcome to Philadelphia Walks PTSD. My name is Sharon Cole, or Sharon, or Cole, whatever you want to refer to me as. No big deal. Don't care. I switched my couch bed around. I used to be against the wall over there, and now I decided to change it up. I had a major migraine yesterday, so I wondered, like, what if I changed, and I slept north south instead of east west, anything that would work, and also just to change things up. So everything looks different now from my usual videos. So welcome into my one video each day 365-day campaign, raising money for a life lost, stolen, robbed, tortured, harassed, like a whistleblower and worse. I don't even know what to say about some of the things that I experienced. But because of what happened, it is incredibly difficult to find a normal way to live. I was sort of trapped into dog walking. Technically, there's a really good argument. Ouch, toothache there. Technically, there is a really good argument for being human trafficked, if you will, because this invisible-ish experience was so bad. I couldn't figure out how to find a job outside of dog walking, and because I was started to get so much work dog walking, and so many overnights, which would pay the bills back then, I basically at some point surrendered and was like, I'll just have to keep going with dog walking. And I was run around in a cat and mouse game, and of course I was the mouse, for years. And I'm kind of surprised that a lot of people kept going. I keep trying to look at it from a positive point of view of, is there a reason? But this went on for so long that it's just like, it seems like a way to keep someone oppressed. So anyway, with that said, I wanted to bring up one of the examples of the 72,000 layer cake. But first, really quick, I'll get into the usual spiel. The fourth Monday of January 2011, I was made to believe I'd be murdered in my apartment. I was scared, trembling, shaking, convulsing, in a very small shoebox apartment, which had bars on the window because it was the first floor of a row home. In the front half, first floor of a row home at 626 South 19th Street. They've changed it up now, so there are no bars on the windows any longer. They used to have an air conditioning unit in the window, which added to how much you could hear outside. I believed it was the last night of my life. I'm certain it was orchestrated because after that, the games commenced. Things got really weird, as if we're in some sort of the Who episode, a portal hole time change. I'm like, are there people teleporting all over the place? It just got really weird, sci-fi like, as if someone were filming a movie invisibly. Although there were a lot of satellite vans, Mercedes ones, utility vans all around the block surrounding my apartment. It just got really weird, crazy, and it's way too much for the brain to be able to handle. So the brain sort of goes into a different category altogether of, I don't know how high level people are, or what people are capable of, or what people know about the human body, and how to affect it. But the games commenced. It got way weird, way too weird to be able to go to police about. I did call police the first night, and they sort of acted like they were on the Andy Griffith show, and they really didn't do much. So anyway, games commenced. All the people who I would reach out to, who I'd been friends with, basically behaved in the opposite way than you would expect. So normally when you call someone, and my sister did the right thing. Like technically she's like, oh my gosh, I wonder what it is. Do you think maybe this will help? Do you think that'll help? Everyone else in the friend zone, all family was basically supportive. Anyone who I had met leading up to this, and I was very active, running, volunteering, dragon boat racing, all this stuff. I was participating in life in a healthy way. All those people, it was like they turned their heads. It's like a turning of the heads, and the ugly side came out as if they're Satan's puppets or something. Like, I have no idea. I'm not even like overly religious, but I do wonder how they're controlled, how they're brainwashed, and they are brainwashed. It is whack how weird these people got. So, and they can deflect blame very easily and make it seem like you have a problem. It's like, you guys just caused a major, major, major serious issue of PTSD at the wazoo, and they're the ones with the mental illness. It's like the asylum being run by inmates. The inmates running the asylum. It's in that realm, even though they look good and they appear to be healthy with great jobs and all this other stuff. So anyway, with that said, I will talk about one layer of a 72,000 layer cake of harassment. I try to come up with, describe examples that I experienced. And one would be people on the streets or in grocery stores or what have you, um, walking with you and stalking, and like they want to irritate people. Now, this is kind of in the realm of normalcy ish, unless it only happens to one person. But in a city, or technically you might see it in more third world countries, but it is happening here. It did happen in the past, and it would usually be in grocery stores because I lived in a different area. But basically it involves you're walking around, and as soon as, say, you approach an intersection and you're walking by foot and you cross a corner, there'll be some people hanging out at corners. It did happen in the past. I kind of forget because there were so many things going on that it's like, you could be, anyway, you walk past someone and they act like they're talking with people, but they'll time it so that they are turning with you right when you are walking by. So then all of a sudden they're walking right with you. And it does sound like sort of like something that pickpocketers would do or similar. It's a way to just add to the layers and layers and layers of a takedown program, either mentally, financially, physically, or what have you. But it makes you feel stalked. It makes you realize that people are looking specifically for you because, say, like yesterday, this happened. A whole bunch of people passed by, but it was only me that the haranguers decided to react to. So anyway, the same thing would happen in grocery stores. So it can seem as if people know say they know your routine and you always go to the kale section or you always get the same yogurt, Chobani yogurt, you have coupons all the time. Say it can seem like people already know that you're going to show up at the supermarket, even if you're like, now in the city, people are on foot a lot. So it's not like I'm driving there. In my case, I'd be walking. So it could be street intel or what have you, or people who are always on the streets saying, oh, so-and-so is headed to, we can tell she's probably headed to Whole Foods. She's probably headed here. She's probably headed there. So you show up there and there will be people hanging out for an inordinate amount of time. I'm trying to think of the word. It's not the best way to say it, but way too long in front of the very spot you always go towards. So if you always get your yogurt in the same place, the same type, someone will be sure to stand there for so long that it gets awkward. And maybe you're someone who goes into the supermarket and you don't want to look at everything because it's too much money. Two, it's like if I need to stay on track with what I eat and I don't want to see all the beautiful food all over the place and start buying up things and then regret it later. So that'll happen a lot. Or if you go to Whole Foods, salad bar could be totally empty. I never go there any longer, but it could be empty for 10 minutes. You walk up, all of a sudden, a whole bunch of people start, and they will come up right next to you. It's not like a basic social etiquette thing where people will be like, okay, I'll kind of back off. I'll go look over here at the potatoes as opposed to the cauliflower or whatever. But on the street, it can start to feel a little bit dangerous and scary. I would totally move from Philadelphia. It is partially a hope of mine to find a quieter community. I love city life, but because of what happened here and because of what continues to happen, it's an issue of what's best. And as I get older, I would love to be somewhere else. I have no idea how to afford that. I literally just pay for a roof over my head, my phone, and food. That's about it. I don't do anything other than walk dogs, try to earn a living, keep trying to figure out how else to earn a living, and so forth and so on. So anyway, with that said, I will wind it up here. But stalkers on the street, people who will time themselves to turn right with you, and it starts to get creepy. And in a way, they're the Nazis, right? They are paying too close attention to a certain person. So I come out here doing something that I wouldn't have done at all ever because I have certain ethics or a mindset of, I don't want people to feel exploited. I don't love the idea of surveillance. It's like, God, you know, I'm, you, people are watching the watchers, it's just never ending. But in the end, because I was tortured so badly, it came up of doing YouTube live streaming at times just as a form of protection and to show what happens. But the people on the street watch people too closely. They would hate to be seen as Nazis. They think other people are Nazis. They're the Nazis. I find it interesting that the very people who claim to be against a surveillance state or against, they're the ones actually watching and waiting for people to stalk and hurt and harm. I realize there are two different types of people out there if you really want to boil it down. There are people who hurt people on purpose, and there are people who don't hurt people on purpose. The people who don't hurt people on purpose, the only reason they would hurt would be they withdraw, or they're like, whoa, I need to go over here. I'm sorry. Or they're trying to assert their independence from childhood. And then normally, say, parents would be like, hey, she's supposed to, that's a normal. It's very different for people to go out of their way to hurt people, to actually come out and attack you, to come out and steal from you. Very different. I'm in the side of I don't hurt people. I don't go out of my way to seek people out to make them feel gross or disgusting or hurt or to confuse their brains or to sidle up next to them to make them feel uncomfortable just to walk down the street. Other people do that. They work really hard to come up with any idea possible to try to hurt you. I don't know what motivates these people. I don't know what, I wondered, and part of their tactic is to take control of your brain so that you're wondering for hours on end and years on end why they did this, why they did. I totally get that. I've been very productive, so clearly it didn't totally work to their advantage. I didn't exactly fall in line with what they wanted, not totally. But they consume people's brains. I don't do that. They want you to be hurting for your entire life, wondering why they did this, why that, why, and that way they are able to be motivated and can be productive while you're left behind, trying to figure out what's going on. But anyway, I was going to make a point. I kind of forgot, but we'll wind it up here. Day 103 of my one video each day, 365 days. Hopefully the lighting's okay here. I've got rearranged my bed, and I actually had a really good sleep last night because I turned my couch. This is a couch bed from Walmart, and I just fold it down and sleep at night, and fold it up and sit during the day when I'm here. So, okay, thank you so much, and have a beautiful day.